Hi, hello, and this is Deepri with another talk today. My topic today is looking at why we're never satisfied as human beings. You know, when I was younger, I used to look at older women and envy them, their poise, their confidence, their maturity, and I used to wish and pray that I could get older so I'd be like them. I assumed that once you got older, automatically you had it made. Your finances would be sorted out, you get to where you wanted to be in life, and things will fall in place. But alas, I grew older and I found out that wasn't the case at all. That in fact, as you got older, your problems and responsibilities increase in a proportional way to your age. In fact, when I got older, I started looking back at my youthful days and wishing I could turn back the hands of time, No responsibility. All I had to do was satisfy my parents. I didn't have to budget. And I remember feeling angry with my parents when I was younger and wondering why they were so stingy. I'd want something and they wouldn't give it to me, but my friends would have it. I used to think my parents were the richest people in the world, that they had unlimited resources at their disposal. It was when I grew up it dawned on me that they were doing a lot out of nothing. And I look around and I realize that everybody feels or felt the same way I did, which brings me to my thoughts for today, Live in the moment, be happy, enjoy yourself, don't overstress, and plan for tomorrow. Always plan for your tomorrow. But remember why you plan for tomorrow, not to plan so hard that you forget to enjoy today. Nobody knows what's coming ahead. The only thing we know for certain is what has gone on behind, and what's happened in the past, yes, to a measure, directs what we do in the future. But we shouldn't lose sight of the present in pursuit of future happiness. We should be self-confident, we should be content, we should revel in the moment, and we should realize that we're each uniquely made, I used to look at other women and be like, oh my God, I wish I was as tall, as slim, as elegant, as pretty, as brilliant. But one thing I've learned with age? You grow into your body, you grow into your personality, you grow into yourself, and you become content. You become self-assured to the point that it borders on arrogance. I mean, you can't imagine yourself being any other person. You absorb what you are. You love yourself. And you have to, because nobody else is going to love you. You got to spoil yourself because nobody else is going to spoil you. And another important thing again, it's good to share, but you got to hold something back for yourself. You got to keep some things to yourself. Number one among which are your finances. You have to make sure you have a safety net, something to fall back on, that's known to only you and no one else. You should ensure that you have a contingency plan. What if something happens to you? What if you have an accident? What if something goes wrong? Have your passwords written somewhere and let the person you trust most in this world know where it is. Have all your important information stashed away. What do I mean by important information? The PIN to your card, your passwords to your different accounts, how to access funds in case you're incapacitated. It might seem like something far away, but we have to be prepared for any eventuality. We have to think of if the unexpected happens. I know of women who had lots of money stashed away in the bank and they died or they were incapacitated by injury or illness. And their children and loved ones suffered because there was no way to access the funds. Now, I see a lot of people passing on and their assets being squandered by people who didn't even give a hoot about them when they were alive. Is that what you want to happen? If it's not, then you have to prepare. Now, that also brings me to another point. While it's all here, live for the moment, enjoy yourself, you have to think of tomorrow. You have to save. There's no free meal in lunch. Nobody's going to come and say, hey, take this. And let's face it, we all played the lottery, but chances of winning the lottery are like 1 in a million, 1 in a trillion, actually. Because I read a lot about winners of the lottery and all that, but I don't actually know anyone who's won the lottery. I read the stories, I read the accounts of it, but I do not know anyone. So based on that, we're going to have to look out for ourselves. You're going to save. You don't depend on anyone. You don't plan based on what you're expecting. You plan based on the here or now. Within your assured resources, you got to make provision. I read this book when I was younger, The Richest Man in Babylon. And what I learned from it was anything you have, divide into 10 parts. Save 3 out of those 10 parts. It might sound difficult, but if you start, it becomes a habit. Know your weakness. I know my weakness. I'm very bad with money. If I have money, it's scratching my palm. I won't rest until I spend that money. So what I do is I buy gold bars and I keep them aside. And I love gold because it appreciates in value all the time. Other people might be more disciplined than me, keep money aside and not touch it. But honestly, if I have money in my immediate vicinity, I will not rest until I have spent it. I know a lot of us have that problem. So find what you do. Some people join cooperatives, but the risk of a cooperative is its success depends on the individual members and the person running it. There have been too many cases of people joining cooperatives, joining a susu, people taking their winnings and not paying, so others lose. So at the end of the day, it brings us down to the same thing. You can depend on only yourself and no other person. You first. Some people say, make the country great again. Make yourself great again. Spoil yourself. No one else is going to come and spoil you. Everyone thinks of themselves before they think of any other person. It's when you look after yourself, you can look after others. But the first step of looking after yourself is your finances. Everything boils down to finance. What can you do to help yourself? What can you do to improve your lot in life? Number 1 is to prune down your expenses. Scale down everything as much as you can. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, and we have to save. Nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody knows what's coming to us. So we must save. Put aside every bit you can. Then the next step is saving in itself. Just putting aside something. It's like having a bottle and putting a stone every month. Then the bottle gets full. What do you do with your savings? You grow it. You invest it so it brings out more for you. There's so many different things to do. Some people are talented in making money, in trading, in investing, in business. They have the Midas touch. But because of the prevailing circumstances, it's very difficult to entrust your savings to another person. So you have to work within what you can do. Some people are good at trading, some are good at investing, others are not. Which brings me to another point. One thing that's universal to all of us is called home ownership. If you have your own roof, you know that no matter how hard life gets, you have a place to run to and hide away from the world. How do you get your own roof? There are different ways. In the West, there are mortgages to help you when you save up and you can pay a deposit. But in our part of the world, you have to buy a little bit of land. Then you start building your house 1 brick at a time, no matter how long it takes you, because there's so much uncertainty that if rent, which by the way makes up to 60-70% of our expenditure, is taken away from the table, you can survive. My grandmother used to say, if you get a house to stay, go just put table in front, sell gari now. Then chop small from your market, manage your life. Meaning, if you have a roof over your head that is yours and you're not thinking of how to pay rent, your major concern is going to be feeding. Every other thing can be taken care of. I think I'm going to stop here for now until next time. Have a good one.